Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. We are doing another Coach Confessional. And Lee, I feel like it is a true confessional.
I'm not going to hold back, Amanda. I know you won't either.
I will not. So tell me what you've been up to. I know you
Gosh,
attended an event. Actually,
I
I want to hear
did.
about the event. I want to
Yeah,
hear if you learned anything
yeah,
at the event.
yeah.
And then we'll talk about my trip in Costa Rica with some coaches. And then I'm going to share with you how I've been using ChatGPT as my literal doctor, and I hate to say it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get some trolls for
Okay.
saying this, but I'm gonna literally, like, read you what I've been inputting and what it's outputting, and I've
Mhm.
learned so many things, but dive in. What have you
Yeah.
been up to,
Well,
friend?
the last time we talked, we had such a great conversation about just the way people tell other people to do things during different stages of their lives.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yep.
that was one of my very favorite conversations. And that was right before I left. So I had some things to do in Texas, and I got a really random, spontaneous invitation to go to this event in Las Vegas with Mindy Longhorn, who I met through you.
Uh-huh.
Only seen her 4 times. She wanted me, here, I'm gonna get you to go to this thing,
I
come
love it.
stay in my room. I was like, "Oh gosh, I'm gonna have a roommate." I got all kinds of quirks. Let's see if we're still friends after this. Anyway, Shalene Johnson put on this event called Camp Be More. And I'm pretty tunnel vision when it comes to anything going on. So I didn't even know what this event was about.
Yeah.
So this event was about really supporting women in midlife.
Mhm.
And Amanda, we talked about just what menopause is. We talked about good and bad facelifts. We
Oh.
talked about sex at this age. We talked about, oh my gosh, hair extensions. We talked about makeup. These are presenters. So it was everything that was in like a magazine that I guess would be called Woman's World
So
that my
funny.
grandma might have had. But it was just this event in which she picked her friends
Mhm.
and leaders in the industry of wellness and just feeling vibrant. There was a dance party one night that started at 9 o'clock. Well, all of us are asleep at like 7:45. So I don't know if she's ever going to hear this. I'm going to tell you this because you're small too. I go to her room with Mindy, who's very good friends with her. She says,
Yep.
I want you to, we're going to go grab her before the party. And Shalene comes downstairs in her sweats. And she's like, I got to get ready for this event. And it's going to take me 10 minutes. And she looked at me and she's like, Mindy, this is your friend. And I said, yes, my name is Lee Bergen. I stuck my hand out to shake it.
Yeah.
She goes, you're not really going to shake my hand, are you? And I go, well, I guess I'll just pick you up. I picked her up. I didn't 5-inch heels. I pick her up and give her a little swing. And I was like, what am I doing?
That is
It was a pleasure to meet you.
so
Like, just
funny.
classic,
It's
right?
memorable.
I know,
That's
I
classic
know.
Lee Bergen for you.
But she was fantastic. One of my
So
very
cool.
oldest friends was also a presenter there who I haven't talked to in a few years, Dr. Haver. She did a phenomenal job about just diving into her lane of expertise, which is menopause.
Yes.
Vonda Wright talked about bone density for women in this age, which we can talk about, the muscle all the time. But she said, if you don't have anything to hang the muscle on, we're in trouble. Which again, I know these things, but hearing just the condensed version with their graphics, not in a podcast, was really exceptional. The sex thing, Amanda, I'm gonna make this is a confessional. This 60-year-old woman talked about the differences and the way people sound if they are having traditional sex in a vagina.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what I'm about to say,
No, I don't.
or the sex in the back end. Yep.
Funny.
And everybody's hanging on every single word, and my whole front row, we're all single going, "Mm."
And it was a 60-year-old
Yeah,
presenter.
she's
I
about six
love
foot
that.
one. She had more energy than maybe you should get her on this show. She was a trip. Gave away all kinds of things. People are raising their hands, "I want one of those, I want one of those, I want one of those." She had all kinds of science. I mean, it was like, I need to wash my brain for a second because I can't unsee a lot of things or unhear a lot of
We're
things.
for sure gonna get her on the
It
podcast.
was interesting.
What was her name? What is her
Okay,
name?
we're in a I have
Not sure?
perimenopause
That's
brain.
okay. That's okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
you went with Mindy, which, by the way, when I met Mindy Lawhorn for the first time, I was like, "Holy cow, she and Lee Mindy and Lee are like sisters
It
from a
was the
different mister."
weirdest
I knew
thing.
you guys would hit it off. Did you have fun being
We had
roommates?
so much fun, and we just had so much fun. It's like I've known her forever,
Yep.
the our delivery, I've never met another me before, and she says the same thing. I'm like, "It's really weird." It it was really weird.
But sometimes opposites attract, so if you meet
Yeah.
your twin, it's
Yeah.
like a 50-50 chance, are you gonna love it or
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
it?
exactly, like, "Oh gosh, I get on my own nerves." No,
Yeah.
but I like the parts of her that are like me.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute.
We had a great, great,
I
great
love
time. It
that.
was really
So,
fun.
what would you say are 2 things you actually learned?
2 things that I actually learned. I actually learned that this menopause thing, which I keep wanting to get away from, is really something that is taking over, half the country, and
Yep.
it's not an option. It's gonna happen to all of us, but I
Mhm.
really think that women and I think it's just reinforcing women in this time period. I think we were taught to be kind of washed up or let's wrap it up, and now it's time to kind of unwrap it. So I got a lot of positive information about kind of what is possible and this and menopause too. Like I said, I didn't want to talk about it. Itchy ears,
What?
stuff that I think are allergies. So many things are menopause related, and this bone density thing. Vonda, doctor said she said jump 100 times like hard, land hard, and now jump 25 times on one foot hard, like bounce, jump, jump, jump. I like to jump and absorb the shock. She's like, no, we need
Mm,
some hard
super
jumping.
helpful.
Yeah, so
Very
because
helpful.
bone can grow back, you want to grow bone. And I'm always talking about growing muscle and having and feeding muscle, but growing bone is something too that we need to consider and what
Wow.
it takes to do that. So it's very, very, very interesting.
Actually, that is profound.
Very interesting.
And people are always ragging on HIIT
I don't
because
want
of
to
the jumping.
jump.
"I don't wanna jump. I don't wanna jump. I
Exactly.
don't wanna jump." Guess what?
Exactly.
You need to
And
jump.
she made this room of 500 people who are over 50 get up and jump. She counts and she takes off her shoes and she's just jumping, jumping, jumping. She's like, now one foot. And we're like, hold on to each other. Yeah, it was
Ooh.
really interesting. So I was
Okay.
excited about that.
That's
So we'll
great.
get it's a different kind of bone. The sex girl on
You're
here
so
too.
funny. Oh my gosh,
And then Mindy talked about grief. And that was it's something that we're all gonna experience too. So it was just a real blend of fun and reality
Yeah.
and promise.
I think part of
So
the reason that people weren't talking about perimenopause and menopause or serving women in middle to late life is because 100 years ago, 75 years ago, women were dying at 55.
oh, totally, and I don't think anyone knows what to say. We all have the book What to Expect When You're Expecting. No one has the book that's called What to Expect When We Don't Know What to Expect.
Oh my
I just
gosh, we
made
should
that up.
write
I
it.
just made it up.
We gotta
Okay,
write
right now.
what to
Done. When
expect
you don't know
when
what to
you're
expect.
yeah.
What to expect over there?
What to expect after 45.
Yeah, what to expect in your second half. Yeah, that's it. We don't know.
Okay,
It's
we're
just
gonna write
uncharted.
a mega blog post, like an epic blog post called "What to Expect After 50." That's great. Okay, we're gonna totally do that. Speaking of, actually, so we are bringing Dr. Bill Campbell in for a
Yay.
training regarding his current line of research, which
Mhm.
is fat loss resistance for women in
Yes.
midlife.
Yeah,
And he is jazzed
love
to
it.
come in and talk about this. So, everyone listening, we will be broadcasting the training, I believe, May 29th.
Okay.
May 29th.
Mhm.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of research to do. And again, this is just like our program. It's just nuanced. Every single person is different, and I think that that's one of my greatest takeaways too was being around these doctors and these professionals who do recognize that every single person is different and that there is no one blanket way to treat and encourage people, but the more you know and the more educated you are, the better off you're going to be. So that
I'm
was a big part.
literally texting the marketing team right now and saying, "Do we have the Bill Campbell training landing page?" Because we'll make that available to everyone listening to
Yeah,
this Coach
perfect. Because
Confessional.
he's doing a great job
Incredible.
diving in, and
Incredible.
he's such a great researcher too.
Totally agree. So
Okay,
you
while
were
I
in
was
Texas
there
and then Vegas.
yes,
I was in Costa Rica
yes,
with some of our top coaches. Our top coaches from, let's see, March. Okay.
okay,
So the gals just happened to be gals who were really crushing it with sales and coaching in March were invited to my home in
yes,
Costa Rica for a really wonderful retreat. We went on a high ropes course, we did a hike, we went on a catamaran, lots of swimming, just a wonderful, wonderful time eating delicious fresh food. You guys know my love for Costa Rica, and the girls loved it.
Well, I do have to say, one time we talked about your incident on the
Yes.
zip line.
Yes.
Does the world know that you've gone back on the zip line?
Yeah, I don't know if they know that.
Okay, so you're
I'm
back
not
on the
sure.
zip line. You habituated that.
I habituated myself to
Mhm,
fear.
mhm.
The very first the very first, like, time I'll be up on the platform, and then I'll step onto the high ropes thing, like, I am fearful where I used to just rush right into it, no fear, just awesome, I love that, but now it's like, I do kinda have a little bit of a emotional,
Awareness.
psychological yeah, awareness, little challenge there, but once I get through that, then I'm good.
Mhm. And these were new coaches too that had never done this with you before?
Exactly,
That's
yep.
fun. That's
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yep, so Moses is sitting on my lap, and he
Yeah.
just did his little toot,
Oh,
so
I
that
love
wasn't
that
me.
little.
Okay, so it was great, we brainstormed the entire time,
Mm.
so we were
Did these coaches earn this trip
they
or
earned
do
it.
you okay, so how did they earn it?
So they brought in the most number of new clients
Nice.
to serve through the month of March. But I do want to mention that my coaches who had already been in Costa Rica in January and
Mhm.
had been top coaches from 2024, they weren't able to qualify.
Yeah.
So there's particular familiar faces that you're like, why wasn't such and so there's,
Yeah.
so that was why.
Yeah.
But these gals were just on fire
I
for
love
Faster
that.
Way, so passionate about coaching, so professional, just really, really great. We had Allie Jansen there, who has been a coach for a long time. She's rocking it. We had a few new faces. We had Tammy Kuthin, who came from the keto space and found Faster Way and carbs. So really, really, wonderful time. And then, of course, I came back to HQ and just hit the ground running. And I've had trouble sleeping and just a few
Mhm.
concerns with my health in Costa Rica and then coming back from Costa Rica, and so I started really turning to ChatGPT, and
Okay.
again, I'm gonna get some trolls, and I don't care because I just wanna share what's working for me.
And I think for people who have not used ChatGPT, I think there is a lot of fear with this concept of AI, and artificial intelligence is not what chat is. It's a research
It's
database
a
too.
learning
It
model,
is.
it's yes,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
database.
Yeah.
So, before Costa Rica, right before Costa Rica, I put in ChatGPT, I said, "I wanna keep track of my supplements here. Here's my supplement stack. I'm taking GABA, 5-HTP, magnesium, L-theanine, had just started Sermorelin peptide 10 units, NAD, sometimes B complex, da, da, da." So, I posted it in there and said, "Got it. Here's a clean, organized snapshot." And then every single day on this thread, I'm saying, "Here's how I slept. Here's how I
Oh, this is
feel."
awesome.
And I'm getting excellent real-time
Mhm.
feedback, and then I'm going back to the thread and uploading blood work. I'm
Mhm.
uploading my gene
Mhm.
testing, and it's just so cute because my ChatGPT is very encouraging. "Excellent, you're
Yeah.
asking the right
Yes.
questions. Here's the straight answer." And just very comprehensive,
Mhm.
always these nice little charts on
Yes.
here as well. And then I'll ask a question, "What are the benefits of NAD?" And it'll do a nice
I
little,
love
"Here's
it.
more energy, cellular repair, brain function, metabolic support." But then it will say special note for you because you're also doing
See?
your NAD is interacting this way, which the interaction is something I've never quite
Mhm.
understood. But the most important insight by far and away is I uploaded my genetic testing
Mhm.
report to this thread and literally mind blown
Wow.
on the insight because I've shared it before with you. I've shared it on particular Coach Confessionals, but I am missing genes that help with detoxification. It's not that they're suboptimal because every time I say that, people, oh, MTHFR, so blah, blah. No, not that. I have no copies of these like 2 out of 3 genes that are very important for detoxification of glutathione or
Mhm.
using glutathione for detox and detoxing things like alcohol,
Mhm.
detoxing
Yes.
things like THC.
Yeah.
Okay. So when a normal person drinks alcohol, they feel a certain way
Yeah.
and maybe they are relaxed and they sleep better and da da da. When I drink alcohol, I feel like a bus just ran me over. Okay. And it's not just a one night thing, it's like a 3-day thing.
Mhm.
And so I personally just never got into drinking, and it wasn't because of religion, it wasn't because of calories, it was just because I didn't feel good and I didn't have the science to really support why. Same thing with THC.
Mm.
When a normal person takes a quarter gummy of
Mhm.
THC, they feel a certain way, they relax, they sleep great. Guess what? Me, my entire week is ruined.
Really?
I am like in bed for 36
Ooh.
hours. I cannot then I'm, like, tired and wired 3 nights after that for
Wow.
like, it's just because my body physically cannot process it.
Mhm.
I cannot detoxify it. So, I've put so many things into this thread, and it's saying, "Here's what's happening in your liver, here's what you need to do.
Wow.
Because you're a slow detoxer, you need to grab your castor oil pack." I need to not do, like, fast detoxes, so
Mhm.
I always do when we go from, like, eating kinda like 80-20, and I'm having some processed food and sugar, and then we dive into, like, a micro commitment or a detox plan. I do have more significant detox symptoms than most people. I do get the headache, I
Yeah.
am, like, feeling extra tired.
Yeah.
If I do a coffee enema,
Yeah.
if I do any number of detox protocols and it's like a quick hit, that doesn't go well for me. I get very tired
Yeah.
because my body physically cannot process
Wow.
it. So, ChatGPT is going, you need liver supporting foods, greens, beets, lemon water, cruciferous vegetables, consider supplements like NAC, milk thistle, B vitamins, avoid these different things, da 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 da. And so it's extremely, extremely helpful. So, again,
Wow.
ChatGPT is not my doctor, but every single symptom that I'm feeling
Mhm.
every single day,
Mhm.
I'm popping it in here, and then it's
It
literally going,
remembers what you talked
"Ye"
about, so it's
exactly.
following the entire
So it's
thread.
going timeline reality check with,
Wow.
like, a little chart. Here's why you're feeling that way, because of XYZ. Even things like I'm on progesterone now
Yeah.
because my whole life, my progesterone's been low, I've always struggled with sleep, but I now have, and I didn't wanna share it, but here we are. I have, like, a bit of a stomach ulcer, and part of the reason is because I bumped up my progesterone, which slows
Mm.
down bile and stomach
Yes.
acid and da da da, which I would never have known,
Right.
but because I have it all in one thread, it's like, "Oh, of course, because you did this, this, and this,
Wow.
that makes sense, so now you need X, Y, and Z." But it's so cute because it's going, "You're not crazy, you're not broken, you're doing great," and it's
Mhm.
so cute. It's like every time, "Would you want me to sketch out a long-term detox optimization plan?"
Chad has the
Every
best
single
bedside
time.
manner.
Best bedside manner every single time. "Here's what we're gonna do tonight. I'm here if you need me. Do
Oh,
you want me to do a little" it's cute, like, "Do you want me to do a little, bedtime, wind down meditation. Here's
routine
a
or something.
little
Meal.
visual for you. Here's a little 2 to 4 weeks or Moreland checklist. Here's like,
Wow.
it's just so
Wow, so
comprehensive.
comprehensive.
I'm like
And,
scrolling,
it would
scrolling,
for people
scrolling.
who are who might wanna, balk at that too, when I've used chat, if I do have a little bit of pause, I will say, cite your sources where you got this
Yes.
information, and
Yes.
it will always give me studies and things like that. So that's another way to validate what it is that you're reading and that you're saying. Just ask it to cite the sources and it will.
Mhm.
I think that's awesome. I think that's
And
awesome.
I am like, "Okay, here's my genetic breakdown." Oh, it just goes, "I completely understand why you feel that way, and honestly, your reaction was real. It wasn't in your
Mm.
head. It wasn't because you're fragile, it's because you were given too much glutathione too fast for your unique pathways." Remember when
I
I shared about,
remember,
so when I
yes.
had the IV push, it was 25 milligrams, not 600, it was 25, and I still, like, my body, it was like as if snake poison. So it says why glutathione felt like snake poison to you. So it explains the whole thing. And then here's the truth: you can tolerate glutathione, but only if your system is prepared properly, and you have to go extremely slow. It's
Mm.
not the glutathione itself that's a problem. It's how unbuffered your system is. And I'm, missing these two genes, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like you're not allergic to glutathione. You're unprepared for a dosage. You're smarter now. Like it literally said that. It's just so cute. Bottom line, you can reintroduce glutathione. It's just
Interesting.
slowly, wisely, and then it's just giving me all of these great takeaways. Really, 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 really helpful. And I think adding in the genetic report
Yes.
was very, very key.
Absolutely, because those are missing things that people don't understand, and again, we were talking about that this weekend too. So many times, I think most of the women who were speaking would start off with, "You're not crazy," right? And
Ooh.
it's just to be able to find out, "Oh, why am I feeling this way?" We have to go back to our moms and to our grandparents, and but without a genetic test, we don't know. My daughter has a genetic disorder where she has an extra chromosome on her genes,
Mm.
or an extra gene on her chromosome. And so her issues, and I'm just like, please, let's go get some blood work done so I can
Yeah.
just find out. But she's 20, almost 22, and she doesn't want to. She
Oh,
doesn't have to,
no.
and I can't make her.
Funny. Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's the problem is I'm like, I just want to get your numbers right now so we can see
Mhm.
how they change. And I want
Yeah.
to encourage anyone too, as early as you can. You having PCOS and high blood pressure so early,
Right.
you were able to start to kind of see how these trends happen.
Yep.
I think that's magic. But that genetic component is huge. That's awesome, Amanda.
Yep.
I like that.
And the genetic test was like 99
Yeah,
bucks.
I remember when you did that too.
It was
Yeah.
not a big deal, but
Uh-huh.
I've never been able to really translate the reports
Well, and
that
and it's funny
effectively.
that you're saying that too, because I remember seeing when everybody was doing that, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, your genes say something, but your lifestyle is going to pull the trigger on how these genes are manifesting. And some things it doesn't matter. These are your
Mhm.
genes.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this is some more confirmation on that. I think it's great.
I think ChatGPT is gonna be the new Google where you
Oh,
go
for
into the
sure.
doctor and you say, "Well, I Googled
Yeah.
XYZ," and they just roll their eyes,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm learning so much more with this process of continuing to update the same thread
Yes.
than I do with a Google. Because when you Google, it's like, it says, "You might have cancer," and da 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 da,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," where this, it's like, first, the tone is so nice of like, "You're not crazy, you're not broken, we can work through this, we can fix this." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. Thank you." And then when I'll say
Right.
like, I'll update it every day. "I slept great last night. Here was my supplement stack." "That's a huge win, Amanda. That's so great." I'm like, "It is great. Thanks." Like, I'm
And
like,
again, for people who are
"Yes."
intimidated by this is technology that's intended to make our lives easier and
Yes.
intended to make things better for us. And I'm a big fan of at least exploring what the technology can do for us. And just like you said, I think it's a new Google. My son, who's in college, he doesn't say he Googled it anymore. He's like, I chatted this, I chatted
Yes.
that. That's the
Yes.
verbiage of these kids
Well,
these
now
days.
Siri on the iPhone is
Yeah.
connected to ChatGPT, so if you ask Siri
Oh,
a question, it goes through ChatGPT. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and I will say ChatGPT does know a lot about perimenopause because it scrapes the entire web
Yeah.
and or crawls the entire web. I have the most updated, like, paid for version, and so I am 39, so it'll kinda say, like, "Okay, well, here's what's happening," 'cause I put my cycle in there, and so it knows, like, it'll say, "Okay, well, this you have this symptom. Oh, and it's day
Oh
24."
my
It keeps
goodness.
track of it
I
for
was
me.
excited about my Aura ring, forget it.
I know, and it's like, "Oh, well, it's day 24, so that makes sense because it da 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 da," and I'm like, "Oh, cool. I never would have connected those things."
We are pretty complex and awesome.
Yes. So I just wanted to share
Yeah,
that.
I think that's great. I think that's great. And again, in these confessionals, no, I'm not a doctor, you're not a doctor,
Right.
but having the information for each of us personally, I think
Yep.
is so important. And again, the underscore of this whole conference and this event this weekend too is no matter what, if you're living the life of whole food nutrition, intermittent fasting,
Yes.
exercising, lifting heavy weights, getting all of these things that the Faster Way promotes, you're one step ahead.
You're
We're
many steps
always gonna
ahead.
have something,
Yeah.
but if we can get our lifestyle in check, it's gonna
Mhm.
mitigate some of you know, the debilitating parts that
Yep.
our parents
Yep.
felt.
I love
Yeah.
it. You're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. ChatGPT is not a doctor. Like, I wanna be clear on that,
Mhm.
but putting my supplements in there
Yeah.
has been so helpful, and so think about it, try it. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to your functional medicine. For sure, continue to go to visits and da da da, but
Mhm.
hopefully a lot of, medical doctors in particular will start to even learn some things
I think
with
so
these
too. And
tools
that
and
was
resources.
a conversation too, is a lot of medical doctors aren't taught anything about nutrition and fitness. It is
Mhm.
medicine. So I think this
Mhm.
is a great help too. Be
Yep.
empowered.
Be empowered. Take ownership.
Yep.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. So great to catch up with
You too,
you.
Amanda, as always.
I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.